Alright, this one I saw this. I thought I don't know what's up with this. Cocomelon, the most evil channel on YouTube. I have no idea, dude. I'm gonna be completely honest. I saw this and like, huh, that's interesting. Like, how isn't it supposed to be like a kid thing or something like that? I think it's too loud, so let me put volume.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes if I can get him to talk. There are hundreds.
What's up with that? Hold on, I'll refresh this, sorry.
My son is almost 2 and I've been letting him watch Cocomelon, but now I had to get him speech therapy so I can get him to talk. There are hundreds and hundreds of anecdotes in which parents mention the exact same problem. The Cocomelon show is so insanely addictive, it's being compared to nicotine and causing developmental issues amongst the kids who can't stop watching. Children's TV expert Jerica Sands calls it the most damaging show a child can watch, explaining the sneaky ways in which they make the show addictive.
I thought you just had that song.
Firstly, there's the colors. Take for example the wheels on the bus. The three main colors, blue, green, and yellow, are all at maximum saturation, meaning they cannot be made any brighter, no matter how hard you try. Extreme saturation is normally used for alerts and notifications, as it's exciting, dynamic, and attracts attention, which is why it's also used in slot machines. Cocomelon puts these colors in perfect contrast, making them appear even more vibrant, which is different to, for example, Bluey, in which the colors instead blend together. Cocomelon's also different because it's highly repetitive. There's a reason they have 38 videos with over 1 billion views.
Jesus,
a child's brain is wired to learn through repetition, so it feels right to them to watch the same thing over and over again. Cocomelon abuses this in almost every video. For example, in the Yes Yes Playground song, they pick a word to repeat 3 times in every sentence, pairing it with a subtly repeating background lullaby, keeping children hooked. Literally no show or movie puts my son into a deep trance the way Cocomelon does.
Is that really that bad, dude?
TV,
I don't have kids. Every time a parent, but obvious
else that's going on in the room. This is only exacerbated by Cocomelon's subtitles, which have also been a heavy point of criticism. The letters are not educational. I can barely read them fast enough. It's simply another interesting element to capture your little one's attention. Cocomelon explains in every description, our goal is to help make learning a fun and enjoyable experience for kids, giving you the peace of mind that your children are receiving quality educational content. But people have argued that they're teaching exactly what children shouldn't do. For example, in the No No Bedtime song, the baby refuses to brush his teeth, have a bath, put on pajamas, or get in bed. The education is that
I don't think I was ever like that as a kid.
Yet a TikTok user was critical, stating,
I think I was always
I'd ask my son to do a simple task, he'd say no, no. He's sitting there watching Cocomelon, which taught him no, 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 and to say no to me. On the topic of education, Jerica Sands stated, these people don't give a shit about our children. They care about money. That's it. Your child's cognitive development
do you think they actually care? No. There's one money.
Pretty good evidence supporting this. A New York Times journalist visited Cocomelon's studio, discovering their number one focus is keeping children hooked.
This is like saying a kid's toy company cares about kids. No, they just want money. That's why the toys are so expensive. You think they actually care, they would be getting those toys for free. But no, they make you pay a lot of money for those.
Cocomelon's data and analytics team sifts constantly through YouTube numbers to determine exactly what resonates. Should a girl wear black jeans or blue jeans? Should the music be louder or softer? Should the bus be yellow or red? Yellow is the answer, as they use a darker method to ensure that they're correct. Cocomelon has a dedicated Distractatron room, in which once a month children are brought here one at a time and shown a handful of episodes to figure out exactly which parts of the shows are engaging and which are tuned out. Next to the TV playing Cocomelon, there's a second screen which plays a continuous loop of banal real-world scenes. A guy pouring a cup of coffee, someone getting a haircut, each lasting about 20 seconds. Whenever a youngster looks away from the Moonbug show to glimpse the Distractatron, a note is jotted down. We can see what they're looking at and the exact moment when they got distracted. Therefore, education clearly isn't the primary goal. Keeping kids' attention is,
it sounds like
proven by Cocomelon's most addictive element.
Is that the basic thing with YouTube videos too? Is because like you have to like keep your audience's attention on you if you want them to keep watching. If they're getting bored or something, they're not gonna keep watching. And I feel like that's a very simple thing. But yeah, with kids, I don't know if it's I mean I don't know, dude. I don't have kids. I don't have really opinion on this exactly, but it does seem a little wrong in a way. That's just me, my opinion on it.
Rapid camera cutting. It's crazy how many times the frame changes on Cocomelon. It's the same type of addicting behavior that we experience on a TikTok binge. It's the quick change of frame that releases that
TikTok.
dopamine and makes the videos
I don't understand how people
to watch. Count the seconds between a change of frame. Well, TikToker the Circus Brain did exactly this. He firstly counts the changes on My Little Pony, concluding there's about 6 seconds between each cut. He then compares it to Cocomelon.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
In her video, The Nightmare That
There's
Is
always
Cocomelon,
something happening,
Semantics
basically.
draws a similar conclusion. She found that 96% of the shots in Baby Shark were shorter than 2 seconds.
Are you for
She then
real?
compares 4 different animated shows,
I didn't
again
know.
finding Cocomelon has the shorter shots.
The longest shot on a Cocomelon video was 6 seconds. The longest
Jeez.
shot on Arcane was 8 seconds. The longest shot on Bluey was 27 seconds. And the longest shot on Encanto was 18 seconds.
Which, when combined with every other element, creates some terrifying statistics. Dr. Kristen Summer explained that when showing an infant normal video
that sounds
content,
pretty bad.
they'll focus on the
A lot of
screen
work
just
for the
11%
editors, anyways.
of the time. However, when the video is instead switched to Cocomelon, their screen engagement skyrockets to a whopping 74%. This therefore produces stories such as
They say, look at that stats, dude. Just 11%. They keep attention for 11% of the time. As soon as they switch to Cocomelon, they go 74%. That's a big increase. That's a 63% increase in watch time or engagement, screen engagement.
4%. This therefore produces stories such as this. I used to volunteer for a preschool and they had song time. A Cocomelon video came on and all of the tots stopped what they were doing, put down their cheese crackers, and remained fixated on the screen for the duration of the video.
So we're gonna have a generation of kids that are born with Cocomelon.
YouTuber Saberspark shared his own personal anecdote. He asked to watch a Disney movie with his 2 younger cousins, who both completely refused, and instead spent all day glued to an iPad playing the addictive show. In Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, a mother talks about her son. He would be in a daze while watching it. You could be waving your hand right in front of his face, and he wouldn't move.
It's like me watching anime for like hours and hours and hours. Like, dude, leave me alone. I'm watching TV.
It was almost scary. This was also
catch
discovered
up on
by
One Piece
Sarah
over here.
Mills 98, who explained when the Cocomelon addiction is so real that my 1-year-old can navigate the TV to turn it on by himself. However, nothing shows the addiction better than the
I was never
Cocomelon
like this when I was a
TikTok
kid either.
trend. Parents will play the show's intro loudly
I could never
kids
stay on one
sprinting
thing
toward the
too long.
television,
That's the thing with
where
me
you can
as a
witness their
kid.
mood change instantly. The New York Times journalist found something similar. The kid in the Distractotron had shown up in the midst of a tantrum, which
That's why
ended the
I don't play
second
games
he
for a
heard
long
the
time. I've seen no game for a long
theme
time.
song. It was no surprise to Wheeler, the head of research. 99% of kids, he said, if they're having issues when they get here, once that Cocomelon song comes on, they're like, life is okay, all is good with the world. Obviously, there's a reason for this. Cocomelon is so hyper-stimulating that it actually acts as a drug, and what happens when you take the drug away. Young children experiencing symptoms of addiction and withdrawal, obviously leaving them completely dysregulated. TikTok user ThePoff1 filmed what happens when you take the show away, explaining he'll be inconsolable for at least 10 to 15 mins after, adding in the description, Cocomelon meltdown is
I don't know, dude. That's weird to me. I was never like that when I was a kid. I always went to one thing to another thing. Like I can never stay on one thing too long. So I don't know. Like I was born when the technology really, like YouTube really wasn't a thing when I was young. Like it was, I think it was there, but it wasn't popular or anything like that. When I got into YouTube or so watching YouTube, that was when the iPhones had like pre-installed on the phones.
is legit. Once you have a
I
taste
remember
of
that.
the
It was
cocoa,
old.
it's hard to break
Long
the
time ago.
addiction, which this Reddit user had experienced even worse.
We
My
didn't even
husband
have
and I have been worried
iPads or
about
anything
our
when I was
child.
young.
I can slowly see
we
how
had
she
like
throw
actual
violent
flip phones.
tantrums
So.
at home and in church.
We didn't
Whenever
start
she'd
getting
get
these.
bored and
We didn't
would
start
want to
getting
watch the
iPhones or
show.
anything until
Her
maybe I was
behavior changes the
8 or
moment she
9.
watches the show,
Maybe.
and she will not even eat her meals if she wouldn't watch it. After these tantrums end, kids can experience a general discomfort in the speed of everyday life. The more they watch the show, the more their brain begins to expect this intense level of stimulation.
Basically, Cocomelon overstimulates their brains so much that everything else just seems slow and boring in comparison.
However, the potential consequences get much worse than this. As mentioned at the start, it was the cause of a child's speaking problems, with a notable reply reading, "Same thing happened with my daughter too. She's 4 but can't speak properly. She knows the words, but she does not like to frame the sentence or speech."
I don't know how old I was when I was talking properly. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have to go talk to my parents about that one. But I mean, you can always say I don't know how to talk properly as I because how I talk. But I mean, like I really forgot what I was gonna say. I mean, like actual words coming out of your mouth. You're not like blubbering, like talking gibberish or anything like that. I have no idea how it was.
She has been watching these Cocomelons
I think I was pretty young. I think I was
stuffs for 2
2
or
or
3
3 maybe.
years.
When I started
Hope we're
speaking
not
pop,
too
like
late.
actual speaking.
Over on Reddit, a speech-language pathologist explained, screen time in general is linked with speech delays for a variety of reasons, but Cocomelon is excessively bad. Firstly, unlike other TV shows or movies, it doesn't have a story. It's just very short clips with poorly written songs. The kids aren't able to follow the plot, learn vocabulary, and see the resolution.
It kind of reminds me of a TikTok. Poorly written songs, but instead of songs, it's poorly written short videos. There's no story. As it says, a dude sitting there, out of it, getting flexing his money he got from Chase Bank, and nothing else really happening in the video.
Resolution of a conflict, supported by infant specialist Meg Fora.
And the problem with fast-paced TV programs is that we find that little one's language development is slower.
On the Agents of Speech YouTube channel, this is again confirmed.
The main problem with watching videos on the internet is that they don't know how to use the language that they learn.
But he adds that 4 to 5 hours of screen time per.
So, I do Japanese as well. So I can speak English, Spanish, and Japanese. It is hard. I can say it is hard trying to learn certain words in Japanese when you are doing it online. Like if I want to go to Japan for a couple of years and maybe learn over there, I think that'd be a lot better learning because you're actually talking to people in real life and not just learning over an app or something like that. So doing Spanish, like my Spanish, I can read and write Spanish, but I can't speak it or understand it. But my Japanese is the opposite. I can understand Japanese and speak it, but I can't read and write it. It's weird. It's absolutely weird.
Can make a toddler completely non-verbal. 4 to 5 hours is obviously a lot of time, but in Cocomelon Made My Kid a Zombie, researchers discovered that 5-year-olds who watch more than 2 hours of TV a day tended to have lower attention spans and were 7.7 times more likely to show symptoms of ADHD. These screen times might be even lower for Cocomelon specifically, because as explained by Jerica Sands, not all screen time is created equal. A child who just watched 30 minutes of Cocomelon and a child who just watched 30 minutes of Trash Truck will look like a very, very different child. Thankfully, here lies a simple solution. Sierra Renee explained, my 2-year-old is speech delayed and addicted to Cocomelon. Switched to Miss Rachel 2 days ago and he's already saying more words and hasn't had any tantrums. Kim.it shared an almost identical anecdote. My 8-month-old was obsessed with Cocomelon and having bad tantrums, so I cancelled Cocomelon and only let her watch Miss Rachel, and she said her first word within the first 3 days of watching.
So,
clearly, parents
just
are
don't
able
let
to
your kids watch
simply change
Cocomelon.
the channel,
Easy
but
as
not
that.
before leaving Cocomelon a massive amount of dislikes.
Hey,
They
is that-
therefore earn the title.
We're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna make sure. Let's see. We're gonna take a look. Oh, please! I'm afraid to open the video because I feel like I'm starting getting recommended stuff. So we're gonna do this in guests because I don't want to be recommending stuff for this. I'm gonna be completely honest. Let's see, Cocomelon. They have a live thing going on now, huh? Okay. Let's look at the most popular thing. Let me mute this. I feel like it's gonna play music as soon as I open this. Let me mute my mic thing real fast so I don't get blasted with that.
I always wanted to have.
I got even an ad. We're good. Let's see. I don't have my widgets on. Oh, never mind.
The absurdly
I'll take it
popular
back.
kid show
We
Parents
can't like that.
Hate, and Cocomelon has actually
I don't want
responded
to get
to the
recommended, so I'm not
criticism
gonna open
that
one
explain
video
our
though.
shows are not intended to replace outdoor playtime or playdates. They have a place in children's entertainment time, and as with food, exercise, etc., it comes down to each parent to find the right and appropriate balance for their children. Our responsibility is ensuring that the quality of the content that we produce is high and beneficial for the development of a child's cognitive and soft skills. It is worth adding that our social media communities are filled with stories of parents who experience firsthand how Moonbug content helps their children. Cocomelon does have a crazy amount of supporters, but it's obvious that some of them are simply ignoring the downsides. My baby learned the alphabet and numbers from Cocomelon. She may not speak a
Just teach your kids how to do it, dude. My parents taught me directly how to do this stuff. Maybe maybe that alphabet movie or whatever it was. You know, I'll put down myself too. I've been watching it. Uh, I learned how to I learned how to speak from playing Wizard 101. I learned how to read and write from Wizard 101. Maybe Maple Story 2. That was like 2 years ago, dude. I'm so surprised this game's still alive though. Numbers, I don't know. I can count 4 different languages or something. Yeah, 4 different languages.
complete sentence, but she expresses her wants
Numbers are
through
easy.
phrases. But is it Cocomelon's responsibility to ensure that babies are talking? Well, no. People love blaming cartoons and games for raising children, and not the shitty parents that don't step in.
Yes,
to
this is
stop
why
them
they keep
from
making
watching
laws
so
and stuff on
much.
games. It's so annoying, dude. I don't like. Why is the government telling me what game I can play? It's annoying. I don't want them to tell me what game I can play. Unless it's like a foul game, obviously. I'm not saying like a general game like Call of Duty, for example. I don't want them telling me I can't play Call of Duty. But like, you say like a really bad game, obviously that game should not be allowed. I'm not saying about that. Like a legal game, basically. Legal activities happening in the game. Like, obviously not that. I'm talking about like regular games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Black Desert, just those games.
Cocomelon is actually a really sad symbol of parents giving their children tablets instead of
that is
actually
true.
parenting and
That is
interacting
true.
with them. Ultimately, parents are the people who choose how much their child consumes.
Yes, you control what your kids consume. It's not the other way around. Yeah, good video. I don't really have a big opinion on this. I think it's bad, but I think it really just fall into the parents because they're the one raising the kids, not this app. If the app is raising your kids, you really failed. Let's put it that way. You can fix it, of course, but you're failing. I'll say you failed. That's kind of harsh. I wouldn't mean this. You are failing, and you can fix it. It's not impossible to fix. It just take a little bit of time.